Welcome back to the deep dive. I often think about leaders like Stan. They're facing this immense pressure, a critical project is completely spiraling. And then, out of the blue almost, they hear about Scrum from, like, a family member.
Yeah.
It makes you wonder, if someone's that desperate for a solution, what exactly can Scrum offer beyond, the buzzwords?
That's the perfect question. Today, we're doing a deep dive right into that. How can Scrum actually help save a project that's, say, 3 months behind and way, way over budget? Just a challenge hitting executives like Stan constantly.
Absolutely. And our listener today, let's call him Stan Thiemann. He's a senior executive VP at a big financial services firm. Stan is feeling the heat. Big time. One of his most critical projects, and he's got a lot on his plate, but this one is in a really dire state.
Okay.
We're talking 3 months behind schedule, massively over budget, and the scope, it's just ballooning, totally out of control. This one project is demanding all his attention.
Wow. And what's really interesting about Stan's situation you mentioned is how he even stumbled onto Scrum.
Right.
It wasn't some big corporate initiative or him reading Agile theory at night.
No.
Amazingly, he just heard Scrum mentioned by his brother-in-law. Apparently, the brother-in-law had a good experience with a Scrum Master.
Yeah, just a casual comment.
Exactly, almost an aside. And that's what led Stan kind of reluctantly to start looking into what this Scrum thing could actually do for him, despite his crazy schedule, and let's be honest, probably a fair bit of skepticism.
For sure. So our mission today, really, is to cut through all that noise, all the jargon, specifically for an executive like Stan. We want to deliver maybe one clear, actionable insight he can grab onto right away and use to start turning that project around. We want to help him shift from just sort of managing Scrum, or maybe just tolerating it.
Yeah, putting up with it.
To actually leading Scrum as a powerful tool.
Precisely. And the key takeaway for you, our listener, is understanding how genuine, authentic Scrum implementation offers a real path to getting control back and delivering actual measurable value, especially when you're stuck in those really complex, chaotic environments that feel, well, impossible.
Okay, so let's unpack this for Stan. The first trap, the thing we see all the time, it's a huge red flag, is organizations trying to roll out Scrum without making any real changes underneath. They just take their old habits, their old processes.
Slap new labels on them.
Exactly. They call it Agile or Scrum. It's that classic applying lipstick on a pig problem, isn't it? Looks okay maybe, but underneath, nothing's changed.
It's such a critical point, because what that lipstick on a pig approach looks like in practice, it can be devastating for a project like Stan's. Imagine replacing real, necessary conversations about the work with just endless JIRA tickets, zero context. Or renaming the same old daily status meeting a daily Scrum, but nobody's actually adapting their plan, they're just reporting status like always.
Right.
Or maybe at the sprint review, they show off how busy everyone was, all the effort.
Lots of PowerPoints.
Exactly. But no actual working software, no usable product increment. And maybe the worst one, using the sprint retrospective, which should be about getting better, to just beat up the team. Work smarter, not harder.
Yeah.
You know the drill.
Yeah, I do. So if Stan's project falls into that trap, just applies the lipstick, without that genuine fundamental change, his project is just going to keep bleeding time and money. The core problems won't get fixed. They'll just get hidden. Covered up, yeah. And that severely limits any real benefits. He ends up right back where he started, months behind, burning cash.
And this leads straight into another huge warning for any executive, for Stan. Beware of Agile Snake Oil.
Ah, yes, snake oil.
All those false promises. Claims that Scrum is easy, that it's a guarantee for quick wins, quick riches, or that it'll magically fix every single organizational problem overnight. Scrum is absolutely not a silver bullet. It just isn't.
It's so true. And Scrum isn't some prescriptive recipe book where you just follow steps 1, 2, 3 blindly.
Right.
Or even worse, just cherry pick the bits you like the sound of. Lots of leaders think, oh, we'll just do daily scrums and sprints. That's enough. But the experts always say, and the Scrum Guide itself says, if you only implement parts of Scrum.
The result is not Scrum.
Exactly. It's something else, maybe something less effective.
It's fascinating, isn't it? People often just slap the lightweight framework over what they already had and expect it to create some magic.
Hope for the best.
Yeah. And that often leads to what we call mini waterfalls.
Yeah.
Basically just bad traditional project management in disguise. Or Scrum butts, where you get all the ceremonies, all the overhead.
But none of the actual Agile benefit.
Precisely. So for Stan, the blunt truth is, real success with Scrum means you have to do The work.
Yeah.
There's just no easy button.
Okay, so if the lipstick on a pig doesn't work and the snake oil is just, well, snake oil,
Yeah.
what does work? Where does Stan begin to make real, genuine change? What's the actual foundation here?
Right. For Stan, the big shift isn't about a new tool or process, primarily. It's about a fundamental mindset change. Scrum is built on two things: empiricism and lean thinking.
Empiricism and lean thinking. Okay.
Think of empiricism as Stan's new superpower for this project. Instead of relying on that busted plan or old assumptions.
Which clearly aren't working.
Exactly. He's going to make decisions based on what he can actually see happening right now. Observe the reality. It's like constantly checking the project's vital signs and adjusting the treatment immediately, not just crossing your fingers.
Okay, I like that analogy. And lean thinking.
Lean thinking is just about being ruthless and cutting out waste. Focusing only on what truly adds value to his project and getting rid of everything else that's just noise or bureaucracy.
Makes sense. And earlier you mentioned trust being critical. How does that fit with these empirical pillars you talked about?
Yes. So, empiricism relies on three pillars: transparency, inspection, and adaptation. And crucially, none of these work effectively without a foundation of trust.
Okay.
For Stan, transparency means the work, the progress, the problems.
Yeah.
It's all visible to everyone involved.
Right.
No more hidden issues or sugarcoating delays.
Right. Get it out in the open.
Then, inspection. That means regularly, diligently checking the progress towards the goals you've set, looking for any undesirable differences or problems, and catching them early.
Got it.
And finally, adaptation. If inspection reveals that things are off track or the product increment isn't quite right, you adjust. You change the process or you pivot the product backlog as soon as possible. But here's the catch. Without trust, transparency fails because people hide things. Inspection turns into a blame game.
Yeah, finger pointing.
And adaptation never happens because nobody wants to admit there's a problem or that they need to change course. Trust underpins it all.
And supporting these pillars and building that trust are the 5 Scrum values. I like the acronym FORCE for remembering them: focus, openness, respect, commitment, and courage.
That's a great acronym.
These aren't just nice to have words on a poster, right? They're essential for Stan to turn this ship around. Think about courage. The team needs courage to flag problems without fear of blame. Stan needs courage to actually listen to those problems, even when it's bad news.
Absolutely.
Or commitment, where the team genuinely commits to achieving a clear sprint goal. That's how you start tackling that runaway scope problem Stan's facing.
Precisely.
Yeah.
Now, moving from the values, let's look at the Scrum team itself. Scrum defines 3 specific accountabilities: the developers, the product owner, and the Scrum Master. And the really powerful idea here is that the entire team is accountable together. They help each other succeed.
Okay, let's break these down, specifically thinking about Stan's spiraling project. First up, the product owner. What's their role in fixing this mess?
For Stan, the product owner is like his project's strategic rudder. They are the one person solely accountable for maximizing the value the team produces. And critically, they have the authority to say no. No to those constant new feature requests or scope changes that are derailing Stan's project and blowing the budget.
That sounds crucial. Authority to say no.
Absolutely. They also need 3 key things: availability, like 100% focus, no multitasking across 5 projects, knowledge, deep understanding of the end user and the market, and that authority we mentioned. Lacking any of these is a huge disservice. They provide the focus.
Okay, that sounds like a powerful control mechanism for Stan. What about the developers?
The developers are the people actually doing the work, committed to creating any aspect of a usable increment each sprint.
Right.
They own the sprint backlog, the plan for the sprint. They ensure quality by adhering to a clear definition of done. They adapt their plan every single day towards the sprint goal during the daily scrum. And they hold each other accountable as professionals.
And it's important to remember, developers isn't just coders, right?
Exactly. It's anyone involved in creating the increment. Testers, designers, analysts, writers, whoever is needed to get that work done. For Stan, these are the folks actually delivering value bit by bit.
Got it. And finally, the Scrum Master. Stan's brother-in-law mentioned a good experience. What's their unique contribution here?
The Scrum Master is the guardian of Scrum for the team. They're a true leader who serves the team, the product owner, and the wider organization. They coach everyone on Scrum theory and practice. They actively remove impediments, those roadblocks slowing the team down, and they ensure that all the Scrum events happen, are productive, and stay within their time boxes. No more endless, pointless meetings for Stan's team.
So they're not managing the team, but enabling them.
Exactly. They create the environment where the team can self-manage, thrive, and really focus on delivering value. They help everyone do the work effectively.
Okay, this structure sounds really solid, but I've definitely seen companies try to cut corners, maybe have one person wear two hats, like being both the product owner and the scrum master. For Stan, who's probably feeling resource constrained, that might sound efficient on paper. What's the real danger there? Why is that a bad idea?
Stan, that is a classic trap. And honestly, it's a fast track to failure, especially for a project already in trouble.
Okay.
Think about it. How can one person effectively champion maximizing product value and simultaneously be focused on protecting the team, coaching the process, and removing impediments?
Yeah, it seems like conflicting priorities.
It's a fundamental conflict of interest. It breeds distrust. It often leads back to command and control behaviors, not agility. One person simply cannot give both roles the focus they need. It's a key anti-pattern that keeps projects like yours stuck.
Right, that makes total sense. Okay, so we have the foundation empiricism, values, clear accountabilities. Let's talk structure. How do the Scrum events and artifacts actually work together to deliver that value for Stan, to give him that predictability and control he desperately needs?
Okay, the core is the sprint itself. It's a fixed-length event, usually 1 month or less, that acts as the heartbeat of Scrum.
The heartbeat. I like that.
Yeah, it's a consistent rhythm, a container for all the other events. Each sprint turns ideas into value and creates that predictability Stan craves. Think of it like a series of short, predictable mini-projects, each one delivering something tangible and usable.
Okay. And within that sprint?
Within each sprint, you have 4 formal events. First up is sprint planning. This is where the entire Scrum team collaborates to lay out the work for the upcoming sprint. The developers pull work from the product backlog into the sprint backlog. The product owner comes prepared to discuss the most important product backlog items and how they map to the overall product goal. It's not just making a list. It's about crafting a sprint goal and forging a shared commitment.
And you mentioned something crucial before sprint planning happens, something often missed.
Yes, product backlog refinement. It's often called the greatest non-event event because it's not a formal Scrum event with a fixed time box, but it's an essential ongoing activity. This is where the team collaboratively breaks down upcoming product backlog items, clarifies requirements, estimates effort, adds detail. Critically, this has to happen before sprint planning
Why is it so important to do it beforehand?
because it ensures everyone has context. It leads to clear acceptance criteria, identifies dependencies early. It stops those awful surprises in sprint planning where the product owner is just winging it, or worse, a hippo, highest paid person's opinion, swoops in with demands nobody expected.
Ah, the hippo effect. Yeah.
Refinement done well stops Stan's scope creep before it even gets into the sprint.
Got it. So refinement happens, then sprint planning. The sprint starts. What's next? The daily scrum. This isn't just another status meeting, you said.
Absolutely not. The daily scrum is sharp, focused, 15 minutes max. Same time, same place every day for the developers.
The developers. Okay.
Their goal is to inspect progress toward the sprint goal and adapt their plan for the next 24 hours. The key focus is on impediments, what's blocking us from meeting the sprint goal. It improves communication, promotes quick decision-making, and stops problems from festering. Stan's team stays aligned and unstuck.
15 minutes focused on impediments. Much better than an hour-long status report.
Totally different. Then, at the end of the sprint, you have the sprint review. How does this give Stan that visibility he needs?
Yeah, what happens here?
The sprint review is Stan's crucial checkpoint. It's where the Scrum team and stakeholders inspect the outcome of the sprint, the increment of working product. It's designed as a working session. The team demonstrates what they accomplished, gets feedback, and everyone collaborates on what to do next. Stan gets to see actual working software regularly.
Not just slides.
Not just slides. This is his chance to give direct feedback, to course correct based on reality, not on wishful thinking. It helps kill off those scope creep monsters before they eat the budget. And importantly, it's not a gate to releasing value. It's an opportunity to decide if value should be released.
Okay, that sounds powerful. Real, tangible progress made visible. And the final event, the sprint retrospective.
Yes, the retro. This is where the Scrum team takes a dedicated look inward. How can we improve our quality and effectiveness? They inspect how the last sprint went regarding individuals, interactions, processes, tools, and their definition of done.
So it's about continuous improvement.
Exactly. The goal is to identify the most helpful changes ideally, just one actionable improvement that they can implement on the next sprint. This builds that culture of courage, openness, and continuous learning that Stan's project desperately needs to recover.
Wow. Okay. So this whole structure, the regular cadence, the focus on usable value, the transparency, the collaboration, it feels like it directly targets the chaos Stan's experiencing. Uncontrolled scope, lack of progress. This provides a way to see results frequently and regain control.
It really does. And Scrum reinforces this with 3 tangible artifacts, each with a specific commitment attached.
Artifacts and commitments. Okay.
First, the product backlog. Its commitment is the product goal. Think of the product goal as the North Star, that long-term objective the Scrum team is working towards. It gives Stan's team direction and ensures everyone's pulling the same way strategically.
Got it. Product backlog, product goal.
Second, the sprint backlog, the plan for the current sprint. Its commitment is the sprint goal. This is the single objective for this specific sprint. It provides focus and flexibility for the developers within the sprint and encourages collaboration to meet it. It's how Stan's team commits to something concrete in the short term.
Makes sense. Sprint backlog, sprint goal. And the last one.
The increment. This is the usable, valuable piece of product created during the sprint. Its commitment is the definition of done.
Ah, the definition of done. Heard a lot about that.
It's critical. It's a formal, shared understanding of what it means for work to be complete and potentially shippable. It ensures quality and transparency. No more, it's kind of done or almost finished. For Stan, this means when the team says something is done, it's really done according to an agreed standard.
Okay. So, pulling it all together for an executive like Stan, the path to rescuing that troubled project isn't about finding some quick fix or buying into that snake oil.
Definitely not.
It's about committing to actually do the work.
Right.
Truly embracing the whole Scrum framework. The theory, the values, the accountabilities, the events, the artifacts.
Yes.
It's about fostering those real conversations, building genuine trust, and empowering the team to manage themselves and actually deliver. It sounds like the harder path, maybe, but the one that works.
It is the harder path initially, because it requires real change, but it's the path that leads out of the chaos. So, for you, our listener, maybe think about this as one actionable step. Where are the core issues of trust and transparency in your team or organization right now? Where is that lipstick maybe being applied? And what's the first real conversation you need to initiate this week to address a fundamental lack of trust or visibility in how work actually gets done? What's one thing you can help make more transparent?
That's a great challenge. And we genuinely encourage you to share what that first actionable item might be in the comments. Think of us as your accountability partners as you take that step towards making real change, one brave conversation at a time.
Focus. #deliver.